The rain hammered against the cracked pavement like 1,000 tiny fists, each drop exploding into mist that clung to my ankles as I stared at my phone screen. My thumb hovered over the delete button, trembling. The chilled glass of Pinot Grigio beside me wasn't a celebration. It was a prescription for the heartbreak Michael left behind. 2 months of paralysis. 5 years of my life feeling like a ghost limb. Then I saw him. Jeffrey. One black and white photo. A suit that cost more than my rent. Eyes like storm clouds that seemed to pierce through the screen directly into my soul. He looked less like a potential date and more like a statue carved from Italian granite. My finger hovered. Michael had taught me to play it safe. This man was the antithesis of safe. What the hell? I whispered and swiped right. It was an immediate match. But before the celebratory chime could finish, my phone buzzed with a message that made my blood run cold. Jeffrey. Found you. You have 5 minutes to tell me why you were looking for me, Deborah. Wait. How did he know my name? My hands shook as I typed, deleting 3 messages before settling on one. Me. I think you have the wrong person. And how do you know my name? His reply was instant, like he'd been waiting. Jeffrey. Wrong person? You swiped on a man who looks nothing like the harmless finance bros you usually gravitate toward. I know your name, because I know everything about you. Your address. Your job at the library. The toxic relationship you just ended with Michael. Now answer my question. Why were you looking for me? I jumped up, checking the locks on my door. This wasn't a game anymore.
Who was this man?
How did he have all my information? And why did he think I was looking for him? Me. I was looking for a distraction.
A date.
That's all. I'm blocking you now. Jeffrey, you won't. Because I interest you more than any distraction ever could. Your ex taught you fear of commitment. I will teach you the exhilaration of protection. Be ready at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Wear something red. I don't give you a choice of restaurant, and I don't entertain excuses. If you're not on time, I'll assume you prefer a more direct introduction to my world. The messages stopped. I stared at the screen, hyperventilating. He wasn't asking me on a date. He was issuing an ultimatum. At exactly 7:58 p.m. the next evening, I heard it. The low, predatory purr of an engine outside my modest apartment building. I pulled back the curtain. A sleek, black Rolls-Royce Ghost sat waiting. The kind of car that cost more than my entire neighborhood. I was wearing the deepest, most expensive red dress I owned. Bought years ago, never worn. Jeffrey's demand had felt like an absolute command. When I stepped outside, he was there. Tailored perfection. Cold eyes. A presence that made the entire street shrink around him. He didn't smile. He simply nodded, his eyes sweeping over me in an intimate appraisal that felt like a physical touch. You're prompt. Good, he murmured, his voice a low, gravelly sound that resonated through my chest. Get in. The restaurant wasn't a restaurant. It was a private penthouse suite overlooking the city. A chef. A silent maitre d'. And an armed bodyguard discreetly positioned by the terrace. My heart was pounding. Who brings a bodyguard to a first date? Who are you, Jeffrey? I finally asked. He cut a sliver of rare tenderloin, completely unhurried. My name is Jeffrey Moretti. I am a man who runs things. I am a man of tradition. And now, I am the man who matched with you. Moretti. The name echoed in my mind. I'd heard it before. Whispered in news reports. Connected to organized crime. A traditionalist who uses a dating app? I challenged. I don't. My people do. They were looking for a distraction for me. Someone uncomplicated. His gaze pinned me. You, Deborah, are complicated. You're broken, but not shattered. That interests me. The conversation wasn't a date. It was an interrogation. He didn't ask about my hobbies. He asked about my vulnerabilities. Tell me about Michael, he demanded. I found myself spilling everything. How Michael had been controlling. Abusive. How he'd drained my confidence until I was just a shell. He tried to keep you in a small box, Jeffrey concluded, setting down his fork. I won't do that. I will offer you the world, but you will be in my box. It's much bigger, Deborah, lined in silk and guarded by men who would die for me. He leaned forward. You will never be alone. Never be unprotected. But there will be rules. And loyalty will be non-negotiable. The possessiveness in his voice wasn't off-putting. After Michael's pettiness, Jeffrey's absolute power felt strangely safe. But something was wrong. He kept glancing at his phone, his jaw tightening. And then I saw it, a text message preview on his screen before he could swipe it away. The shipment was intercepted. They know about the girl. My stomach dropped. What shipment? What girl? Was he talking about me? Jeffrey stood abruptly. We need to leave.
Now.
What? Why? Because someone just made you a target, Deborah. And I don't let what's mine get touched. The days that followed blurred into a surreal mix of opulence and isolation. Jeffrey showered me with gifts. A new wardrobe. A key to a luxurious loft he purchased for me, for privacy and safety, he said. A driver named Marco, who was clearly more than just a driver. Their interactions were defined by rules Jeffrey dictated with chilling calm. Rule 1. I must always answer his calls. Rule 2. I must always inform him of my movements. Rule 3. If he said jump, I asked how high. I might break every other rule the world sets, Deborah, but I won't break mine, he told me one evening. Family, loyalty, marriage, those things are sacred to me. I am traditional about the things that matter. The physical tension between us was electric, a slow burn that defied the danger. I found myself fascinated by his contradictions. The ruthlessness in his eyes when he took a business call versus the unexpected tenderness when he touched my cheek. One night, I stood on the terrace of my new loft, looking out at the city. Jeffrey stood behind me, his large hands resting lightly on my hips. You look scared, he murmured. I am, I admitted. You're asking me to give up my life for a man I met on an app.
No.
I'm asking you to trust the protection I offer. A protection Michael could never dream of providing. He turned me in his arms. I promise you this, Deborah. You will never have to run again. His kiss was deliberate, possessive, overwhelming. It was the kiss of a man staking his claim, leaving no room for doubt or retreat. But in the back of my mind, one question kept screaming, what had I gotten myself into? A week later, everything changed. Jeffrey arrived late, extremely agitated. There was a faint smear of what I instantly recognized as dried blood on his collar. I need you to do something for me, he said. Not asking.
Stating.
A delivery. A package needs to be moved from my private office safe, a ledger. It must be taken to the drop-off point at Pier 17. No questions. No stops. No phones. My heart stopped. Jeffrey, I can't. That's illegal. He stepped closer, his shadow enveloping me. I am not asking you to commit a crime, Deborah. I am asking you to be loyal. This isn't about the ledger. It's about whether you trust me to protect you from the consequences. His voice dropped to a whisper. If this is where you decide to walk away, I'll allow it. But know this, you'll be walking back toward Michael's world. A world where you're always running. Tears stung my eyes. I was facing the ultimate choice. Go back to my simple, lonely legal life? Or step fully into his dangerous, intoxicating world? I trust you, I whispered. The drive to Pier 17 was the longest of my life. Every police car that passed made my heart leap into my throat. Every shadow looked like a threat. The man who received the package was silent, intimidating. He nodded once and disappeared into the darkness. When I returned, Jeffrey was waiting. He didn't praise me. He simply pulled me into a fierce embrace, his body vibrating with relief. You passed, he breathed into my hair. Thank you. You belong to me, Deborah. Don't ever forget that. I had chosen him. I had chosen the danger. And in that moment, I felt the strongest I had ever been. But I didn't know the test was just beginning. Michael was slow, but not stupid. He'd noticed the new address, the expensive clothes, the silent man in the driver's seat. He finally confronted me outside the library where I occasionally still worked, cornering me near the entrance. Look at you, Deb. Selling yourself for a Mercedes. Who is he, some drug dealer? Michael sneered. You think you're safe with him? They always crash and burn. Before I could respond, the black sedan pulled up. Marco stepped out, standing at attention. But he didn't move toward Michael, because Jeffrey himself stepped out of the passenger side. He didn't rush. He moved with the slow, deadly grace of a panther, stopping several feet from Michael. The lady is with me, Jeffrey said, his voice dangerously low. Michael, initially defiant, took one look at Jeffrey's face and froze. The boss's eyes weren't just cold, they were devoid of human feeling. She's my ex, man. Just catching up. She is mine, Jeffrey corrected, stepping closer. And your catching up ends now. If you ever come within a mile of her, if you ever speak her name, if you ever so much as look in her general direction, I will ensure your life becomes an inconvenience you will regret. He leaned in, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper only Michael could hear. I know where you work. I know where your mother lives. I know the route you take to your gym every Tuesday and Thursday. Test me, Michael. Please. I would enjoy it. Michael stumbled backward and ran. He didn't look back. I looked at Jeffrey, a complex wave of gratitude and terror washing over me. You shouldn't have done that. I had to, Jeffrey replied, sliding his hand under my chin. A man must know his limits. Michael's limit is me. You will never have to worry about him again. He hadn't just protected me from Michael. He had erased Michael as a variable in my life. But as we drove away, I saw something in the rearview mirror that made my blood freeze. A black SUV with tinted windows. Following us. Jeffrey. I whispered. That car. His jaw tightened. I know. They've been following us for 3 days. Who are they? Rivals. And they just made their move. We were supposed to be safe at home, planning a quiet night. Then the silence shattered. Not police sirens. A high-pitched, European emergency frequency, followed by the terrifying sound of automatic gunfire tearing into the street below. Jeffrey burst through the door, his face grim, a handgun already in his hand. Rivals, he clipped out, pulling me roughly toward the hidden service elevator. My second-in-command was compromised. They know I'm here. We have to move.
Now.
The building shook from a muffled explosion. Jeffrey shielded me entirely with his body. Listen to me, he commanded. When we get out, you run to the black SUV waiting at the service entrance. Don't look back. Don't stop. You tell Marco, Alpha 7, and he drives. No, I said, surprising both of us. What? I'm not running. I'm with you. Deborah, this is not a choice. I need you safe. And I need you alive. I grabbed the lapels of his suit. If I run, you have to worry about me. If I'm with you, I can help. I'm smart, Jeffrey. Use me. He looked at me, his eyes blazing with fury and fierce admiration. For a woman who was supposed to be a distraction, I was proving to be a lifeline. Fine, he ground out, pulling a small, diamond-encrusted silver pistol from his suit pocket. You stay behind me. You do exactly what I say. And you remember that if anything happens to you, I will burn this city to the ground. We burst out into the chaotic service bay. A fierce gunfight was underway. Jeffrey moved with terrifying efficiency, neutralizing 2 assailants before they even registered his presence.
But then I saw it.
A rival operative, moving with practiced speed, flanked Jeffrey, pinning him behind a stack of crates. Jeffrey's head snapped back. He'd taken a blow. His gun fell just out of reach. The rival raised his weapon, aiming at Jeffrey's head. There was no time to think, only to act. I didn't fire the pistol Jeffrey had given me. Instead, I grabbed a heavy metal pipe and swung it wildly. It connected with the back of the assailant's head. The man dropped like a stone. Jeffrey recovered instantly, rolling over, securing his weapon.
He looked up at me,
standing there, panting. The pipe still clutched in my hands. My red dress stained with dust and grime. I hadn't run. I had fought for him. He stood up, pulling me into his arms, crushing me against his chest. You damn fool, he muttered, running a shaky hand through my hair. You could have been killed. I know, I whispered, burying my face in his neck. But I would have died running back to Michael's world. I choose this. I choose you. Later that night, after the immediate danger was neutralized, we were safe in a fortified location. Jeffrey held me close, his storm cloud eyes softened by raw, possessive love. But then his phone rang. He answered it, his expression darkening with every word. When he hung up, he looked at me with something I'd never seen before: fear. What is it? I asked. The attack tonight wasn't just about territory, he said slowly. It was about you. Me? Why? Because someone put a price on your head, Deborah. $500,000. To anyone who can bring you to them alive. My legs gave out.
Jeffrey caught me. Who would do that?
Why? He hesitated, then spoke the words that shattered everything. Your ex-boyfriend, Michael. He didn't just walk away, Deborah. He went to my biggest rival. Told them everything about you. Told them you were my weakness. The room spun. Michael had done this. Not out of love. Out of revenge. There's more, Jeffrey continued, his voice tight. The rival who wants you? His name is Viktor Kozlov. And he's not just any rival. He's the man who killed my father 5 years ago. Everything clicked into place.
This wasn't just about me.
This was about Jeffrey's past, his pain, his unfinished business. And I was the bait that would bring it all to the surface. We need to disappear, Jeffrey said, already making calls. I have safe houses in 3 countries. We leave tonight. No, I said. He looked at me like I'd lost my mind. No. Running won't solve this. Viktor will keep coming. Michael will keep feeding him information. This ends now. Deborah, you don't understand what you're saying. Viktor Kozlov is not a man you negotiate with. He's a monster. Then we fight the monster, I said, surprising myself with my own conviction. You've been running from your father's death for 5 years, Jeffrey, using power and control to mask the pain. But you can't control this. Not alone. His face hardened. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we use me as bait. We set a trap. We end this. Once and for all. The silence stretched between us. Finally, Jeffrey spoke. If we do this, there's no going back. You'll be in the line of fire. You could die. I could die running, I countered. At least this way, I die fighting beside you. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, we do it your way, but we do it mine too. I have conditions. Name them. You wear a wire. You stay within 50 feet of Marco at all times. And the second things go wrong, you run. No arguments. No heroics. You run and you let me handle it. I nodded.
Deal.
What I didn't tell him was that I had no intention of running. Not this time. The plan was simple. Too simple. I would reach out to Michael. Tell him I wanted to leave Jeffrey. That I was scared. That I needed help. Michael, desperate to prove himself to Viktor, would set up a meeting. And we would be waiting. The location was an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Cliché, but effective. I wore a wire. Marco and 3 of Jeffrey's men were positioned around the perimeter. Jeffrey himself was hidden in the rafters above, a sniper rifle in his hands. When Michael arrived, he looked nervous. Twitchy. Deb, thank God, he said, rushing toward me. I knew you'd come to your senses. That guy is dangerous. I've been working with people who can protect you. Where's Viktor? I interrupted. Michael froze. What? Viktor Kozlov. The man you sold me to. Where is he? Michael's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, Michael. I know everything. You told Viktor about me. You put a price on my head. Why? His expression twisted. From fear to anger to something uglier. Because you chose him over me. Michael screamed. After everything I did for you, I gave you 5 years of my life, and you threw it away for some criminal in a suit. You deserve everything that's coming to you, Deborah. Behind him, the warehouse door opened. Viktor Kozlov stepped inside. He was tall,
broad,
with dead eyes and a scar running from his temple to his jaw. Well, Victor said in a thick Russian accent. Jeffrey Moretti's little distraction. I expected someone more impressive. I stood my ground. You wanted me. Here I am. Victor smiled. It was the smile of a predator. You have spirit. I like that. It will make breaking you more satisfying. You won't touch her, came Jeffrey's voice from above. Victor didn't flinch. He'd known Jeffrey was there all along. Ah, Jeffrey. Still playing hero. Just like your father. The air crackled with tension. You killed my father in cold blood, Jeffrey said, his voice lethal. And now you come for my woman. You made a mistake, Victor. Did I? Victor pulled out a gun, aiming it directly at me. Because from where I'm standing, you're the one who made the mistake. You fell in love, Jeffrey. And love is weakness. He cocked the gun. Say goodbye to your distraction. Everything happened at once. Jeffrey fired from the rafters. But Victor moved. The bullet grazed his shoulder instead of his heart. Marco and the other men rushed in, engaging Victor's reinforcements who had been hiding in the shadows. Michael tried to run, but I grabbed him, using every ounce of strength to hold him in place. You don't get to run this time, I hissed. Victor, wounded but still standing, turned his gun on me. Jeffrey dropped from the rafters, landing between us. You want her? You go through me first. Victor laughed. Just like your father. Noble. Stupid.
Dead.
They collided. The fight was brutal. Vicious. Two apex predators tearing each other apart. Jeffrey was faster, but Victor was stronger. I saw the knife before Jeffrey did. Victor pulled it from his belt, aiming for Jeffrey's throat. No! I screamed. I didn't think. I just moved. Throwing myself forward, I tackled Victor from the side. The knife sliced across my arm instead of Jeffrey's neck. Pain exploded through me. But I didn't let go. Jeffrey used the distraction. He disarmed Victor, slamming him to the ground. This is for my father, Jeffrey said coldly. And he pulled the trigger. Viktor Kozlov died instantly. The warehouse fell silent. Jeffrey turned to me, his eyes wide with horror, when he saw the blood pouring from my arm. Deborah. No. He pulled me into his arms, applying pressure to the wound. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm okay, I whispered, even though the pain was blinding. I'm okay, Jeffrey. It's over. Sirens wailed in the distance. Marco appeared at Jeffrey's side. Boss, we have to move.
Now.
Jeffrey lifted me gently, cradling me like I weighed nothing. As we left the warehouse, I looked back at Michael. He was on his knees, surrounded by Jeffrey's men. What about him? I asked. Jeffrey's expression was ice. He'll face justice. My kind of justice. Michael's screams followed us into the night. 3 months later, the wound on my arm had healed into a thin, silvery scar. A reminder of the night I chose love over safety. I stood on the terrace of a new villa. Remote. Beautiful.
Ours.
Jeffrey's arms came around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. What are you thinking about? He murmured. The future, I said honestly. Our future. He chuckled. We skipped the adjustment period when you tackled a Russian mobster with a knife. Karamia. You're stuck with me now. I turned in his arms, looking up at him. The man who had claimed me.
Protected me.
Fought beside me. I see everything, I whispered. A future full of challenges and joy. Of danger. Navigated together. I had swiped right on a dating app to forget my ex. I had matched with a dangerous mafia boss. And I had found something I never knew I was looking for, a love worth fighting for. Family, loyalty, marriage, Jeffrey said softly, repeating the words he'd told me that first night. Those things are sacred to me. And you, Deborah Moretti, are the most sacred thing in my world. He kissed me.
Slow. Deep.
Full of promise. I had run toward the most dangerous man I'd ever met. And in his arms, I had finally found home. Michael was gone. Victor was dead. The threats had been neutralized. But our story? Our story was just beginning. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe. My best friend bet me I couldn't reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Let's prove her wrong together. Thank you so much for being here and for supporting this channel. I'll see you in the next story.